Hey there, golf lovers. Looking to step up your game? Let me tell you about Mollybox, the ultimate golf subscription box. Every month, Mollybox sends you a box packed with premium golf gear, accessories, and stylish apparel, all delivered right to your door. Imagine getting top-tier apparel and more, all handpicked just for you. With Mollybox, you'll stay ahead of the game and boost your performance. It's like having a personal caddy in a box. So why wait? Join the Mollybox family today. Head over to mollybox.com and use your limited time promo code ROGUE25, ROGUE, ROGUE 25 for 25% off your first box. That's mollybox.com.
Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Waco with Erica Boisvert, your local Waco agent. We are going to be getting into some good information about downtown Waco. We will also touch on the real estate market. That's the world I live in. Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Waco. This is Erica Boisvert, your local real estate agent. Today, my friend Christina Dominguez is going to join me. Christina works with Thrive Mortgage here in town, and we are going to talk a little bit about loans today.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Well, whatever. Not really. Good morning, whatever it is.
Hi,
Hello.
Christina.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate you doing this. I know we just barely touched on it yesterday, and here we are knocking it out today.
Here we go.
All right. So you are a lender in
Yes,
town, and
I
you're
am.
not new. How long
No.
have you been doing this?
Longer than I could drink alcohol? No. Well, that's true, actually.
I mean-
But 23 years?
Goodness. So you're pretty good at what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Own it. You're great at what you do. You're
Yeah.
excellent with clients. You know your products.
I do.
So there you go. So today I know we were discussing buyers making offers and maybe how some people don't really understand the difference between a pre-qualification letter versus a pre-approval letter.
Right.
So do you want to get into that?
Sure.
The big differences?
Sure. So they're very different, to be very honest with you. So a pre-qualification is literally you called me, you told me I work here, I make this much money, I have this much money, and there you go. And so a pre-approval is where I verify every bit of that. So I get your pay stubs. I verify with your employer that your pay stubs are accurate. I look at your bank statements. I go through everything. And the reason that that is so huge because, and I was telling you this earlier, you know, I had a situation recently where a borrower of mine worked at a pretty big place, you know, well-known place. Everybody knows who they are and what they are. And she had pay stubs that matched, that said what she told me she made. But once we started verifying the employment, the employer had an automated system that said she was paid 40 hours. She worked 40 hours per pay period, and they put that it was monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what that's saying is that she works 40 hours a month. No?
Whoops.
Because her pay stubs show she works quite a bit more than that.
Right.
Well, so in that instance, I need to find a human.
Mm-hmm.
I need to find a human that fixes the data entry error. And it literally took me over 2 weeks to get somebody to fix that for me. So if I qualify somebody on 40 hours a month versus 40 hours a week, that's a vast difference.
Big old difference.
And if that person was already in a contract, there already a seller waiting, there's all these things, it's very stressful.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing she can do about it. I mean, she literally went up to HR and said, hey, I need y'all to fix this. And, oh, I will, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why a pre-approval is so important, because now you've gone through that entire process. We've verified everything. We've double, triple checked everything. I've sent it to the underwriter, and, you know, the underwriter sits way on top of the hill, and she is the god of all gods. No, I'm kidding. But, you know.
No, but that's a good point, because I don't think people understand that even though your loan officer has done everything they're supposed to do, checked every box, verified everything, there's still another step.
Yes.
Where another person has to process this and put eyeballs on it.
Exactly. And, you know, and a lot of people are like, oh, that deadgum underwriter, blah, blah, blah. Well, the truth of it is she can lose her license.
Mm-hmm.
If she signs off on a bunch of loans that end up going bad, she loses her license. And I'm pretty sure her family likes to live in a home, you know? I mean, and so, you know, there's the things. And so everybody's job along the way is, while I do my very best to put together and see everything, I do miss things, just like you do, just like everybody else does.
We're human.
Yeah. And so if we've gone through that entire process and everybody's checked every box, then you can look at your seller and say, here's my offer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already been double, triple checked. All that's done. And so now at that point, all I have to do is insert property, and we need to do all the property things, because, you know, you have to double, triple check all the property things too.
Right.
And so it just makes things easier. It makes the buyer feel better.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the seller feel better. It makes all the real estate agent, everybody feels better.
Makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I like it if I'm representing a buyer, if I can say, hey, this offer doesn't need financing approval. The buyer's good to go. We just need to look at the house.
Exactly. And the truth of it is, you know, it's just like anything else big in life. You know, there's stresses to it. And wouldn't it be great if you didn't have that one?
Right. Well, and right now when buyers are having such a hard time in these multiple offer situations, one way to kind of cut one issue out is to be so fully approved by your lender that you can go in there and say, look, it's golden. It's
right.
Almost as good as cash if the property meets requirements.
Exactly.
And I mean, really, sellers, your home more likely than not will meet current property conditions.
Right.
It's the lower percentage of homes that have things that don't meet and qualify. And those are conducive conditions that can be rectified fairly easily for the most part, I would say. You know, trim some bushes back from the side of the wall, fix some wood rot.
Right.
And I mean, you know, pride of ownership, you want to fix those things anyway, I would think. And
exactly.
You're getting top dollar.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
Some.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. And the thing of it is, you know, I run across people every once in a while. They're like, I just don't want to do it. It's just too much blood. And it's like, you know what? You would rather do it now when you're not under that time crunch pressure than wait. Because the truth of it is that lady would have had no idea that automated service that her company pays for was going to show a difference in pay. You know, she would have had no idea if we would have never gone anything, because her pay stubs looked perfect. Everything looked great. You know, now let me back up and say that just because you're pre-approved does not mean the loan is funded.
True.
You're not like, oh, I'm pre-approved, so now I'm going to go buy $20,000 worth of furniture. Let's not do that.
Please don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that, you know, they're not going to, at the very end, you know, re-verify all the things. But at least you've done all of that part. And, you know, the truth of it is, you know, with my system, everything is so automated. If you've got a phone, you can do it all. You can lay in bed, take a picture of your driver's license, upload your pay stubs, make your bank talk to our system, sends it all over. It's really not that hard. Take the extra step, do the full pre-approval. And I get it in this market. You know, somebody might call me on Saturday afternoon at 2:00, like, I'm putting in an offer now. I need something now. No, we're not going to get a pre-approval that day, that minute.
Right.
So, yeah, let's send that pre-qualification. But on Monday, let's send that into the underwriter. Let's do all that.
But even taking it a step, I think you're right. Like, that may happen, those Saturday things. But hey, if Monday through Friday you've already taken care of that stuff, then you are golden on the weekend. Go to open houses. Go look at houses with your agent, you know, appointments, open houses, however you want to get in the home, and you're ready
Right.
to make an offer. Now, pre-approval is excellent, regardless of the type of loan, right?
Correct.
And I know you and I were talking earlier about conventional loans and how people just think they're like, next to cash.
Yes.
But, you told me something about how sometimes somebody a very well-qualified buyer,
Right.
will choose FHA loans
Right.
or utilize their VA benefits
Correct.
for really smart reasons, I think.
Yes.
So-
Yes.
So you were saying like rates, keeping cash in the bank. What
Right.
else can be a good reason to choose FHA over conventional?
So very often people have this stigmatism of that FHA and VA loans are for the quote unquote poor or bad credit or, whatever. But the truth of it is very often you can have a very qualified borrower that could go conventional just fine, just fine. But because their credit isn't an 850, maybe it's even in the 700s, your mortgage insurance monthly is quite a bit cheaper. Your interest rate is quite a bit cheaper on FHA or VA. So conventional mortgage insurance is when you don't put 20% in. So you don't put 20% down, you're going to have mortgage insurance on any loan. But conventional mortgage insurance is based on all the factors. What's your debt to income ratio? What's your credit score? What's the loan to value? FHA mortgage insurance is the same across the board. I don't care if you have a 610 or an 810. The mortgage insurance is the same.
Okay.
And so, sometimes you can end up with a conventional loan where your mortgage insurance is $200, $300, $400 more expensive.
Good gracious. Monthly.
Yes, monthly. So why would you do that?
Right.
I had a conversation with somebody the other day. It's like, listen, you could very much go this way, but you can also go this way, and it's $350 cheaper monthly.
Oh my gosh. So conventional loans are not always the end all be all.
Right.
And they could cost a borrower a heck of a lot more in the long run.
Right.
So why wouldn't they choose FHA?
Exactly.
Oh my God, I would too. And the down payment requirements are lower.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. For FHA, the minimum down payment is 3.5%. On most conventional, they're 5%. So, in this person's circumstance, her plan was to do some renovations. And so once she does those renovations, she can come back in a year, next year, 2 years, whatever, refinance that loan and drop all her MI period.
Nice.
Think about what you could do if somebody gave you an extra $300 a month.
Oh my gosh.
That's life-changing for people. And we all know that nothing's getting cheaper.
No.
So let's, be smart about it. So, conventional is not always best. People have these preconceived notions. And people also have these preconceived notions that if you go conventional, it doesn't matter what the property looks like. Who gives a rat's?
Oh, good. True.
The truth of it is, if the appraiser's job is to go in and make sure that the house is safe, secure, sound, and also has value. So if they walk into a house and they're rolling downhill because the foundation is such a mess, I don't care what kind of loan you got. He's going to say, I need somebody to come look at this foundation. If there's holes in the roof or your ceiling's falling in, they're going to ask for it.
Right.
So who cares?
I think that's such a good point because I think people do really think a conventional loan means it doesn't matter. The house could be, but also what people don't think about with any loan program, the house needs to be insurable.
Yes, it does.
And so if you can't get homeowners insurance on a property, the lender's not going to take that risk.
Exactly.
So, any property needs to be insurable. And that means you can't have the holy roof. You can't have a foundation. You can't have a wall missing. You can't even have like wood rot that could increase possibility of water intrusion, things like that.
Exactly.
So I think that's an excellent point.
Yeah. And I hear it all the time. We're going conventional because we just want to buy this house as is. Well, okay, but that doesn't mean that you're going to.
Right.
If he walks in and sees, that Aunt Betsy fell through the attic 2 years ago and there's a whole, he's going to
Dang it,
say,
Aunt Betsy.
hey, that's not safe.
Right.
Or, 2 windows are broke out in the back bedroom, that's not safe. And like you said, so let's say the FHA or the appraiser period says, okay, we're going to fly with that. I don't have a problem with A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean your insurance agent is.
Right.
I mean, I think that, people forget that, it's not just the mortgage lender that's checking everything.
Mm-mm.
It's everybody.
There's a whole bunch of people looking at that house.
Exactly. So everything needs to be taken into account.
Mm-hmm.
And do your research. Don't listen to your grandpa's uncle's cousin's brother. It's kind of like when you're having a baby. Everybody has an opinion. Well,
yes.
when I was pregnant, when I bought a house in 1982, well, let me just tell you,
It's a little different now.
Yeah, when I bought my first house, it compares not at all to what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Everything evolves, everything changes. Even if you bought a house 5 years ago, things have changed. Things are different. Get educated. Talk to your lender. Talk to your real estate agent. That's why it's important to have somebody that will listen to you and find out what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and I think it's also important to find people who are have a heart for education.
Yes.
And make sure that they are staying on top of all the changes, because everything's changing. It feels like daily.
Yes.
Right now. Rates are changing. Home prices are changing. The inflation, just economics in general.
Yes. Yeah.
is something to watch right now. And speaking to that, I know that you said, you look at like the forecast of kind of what's coming up, and what are you seeing that's kind of anything cool or anything coming up that you're like, ooh, wait, what?
Well, I am seeing that. So I work for Thrive Mortgage, and I'm lucky enough to work for a company that doesn't live with their head in the sand, quote unquote. And so we realize that there needs to be more options. There needs to be more, everything is not black and white.
Right.
Most people do not fit into a box. And so there has to be the options. And so I'm seeing that, like we have a program where maybe you have a house that you need to sell, but the seller won't accept a contingent offer.
Okay.
And so we have a deal where it's kind of like a bridge loan, if you want to compare it to that.
Okay.
Where you can do them both. You don't have to present a contingent offer. So you use the equity of your existing home and the equity of the new home, and you do it that way. Because in the market we're in now, sometimes sellers don't like those contingent offers.
Right. They want to get rid of every possible risk.
Yes. They don't, they think the contingency is like,
What if?
And the truth of it is there's a lot of what ifs. There, of course there is. And so there's programs like that. There are, I'm seeing that because home prices are on the rise, mobile homes are a lot more affordable.
Yes.
They are. And they're not like they were 10 years ago. They're not like they were 5 years ago.
They've
they're
come
different.
a long way.
They're very different. I'm also seeing that because there aren't homes available to buy, people are building more.
Yes.
And so there are options for construction, one-time construction. I was telling you earlier, like we have a situation where you can lock now, even if your house isn't going to be
lock your rate.
Yes, lock your interest rate now, even if your house isn't going to be done for 6 months, 9 months, whatever. And if the rate falls, then you get to float down.
Which is awesome. So
Yes.
you can lock it so it won't increase.
Right.
But if it decreases, you can take advantage of that newer rate.
Exactly.
Do you see any decreases coming though?
No.
Sorry, I know.
No, I don't.
So the ability to lock in that rate is
Yes.
excellent. And for
Yes.
6 months.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in business a long time. When I bought my first house, I think my interest rate was like 5.75 or something.
Okay.
I was doing loans last summer where they were getting them the 2s.
I know. It's
So
crazy.
they've been everywhere. Where they're sitting today, they've been much higher than that.
Yeah.
Much higher.
Talk to our parents about buying a house.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, double digits.
Yes. But the truth of it is it always comes down. It always goes up. It always comes down.
Cycles.
It's gonna do all the things. There's so many things that have been going on in the world in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the same as 2008. I was there when that happened, and I can tell you that it's not the same.
It's not. And I think a lot of people, I hear that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to crash. It's going to crash. I'm going to wait. It's going to crash.
Yeah.
But people don't understand there was predatory lending.
Yes.
There were people who are literally just saying, just sign on the dotted line. You want to tell people you make $200,000 a year as a server? That's fine. Sign the dotted line. And sometimes people do, but
yes,
more often than not.
Yes.
No.
Right.
So stated income loans were a very scary thing.
Yes.
And a lot of people got into houses that way. And then the recession hit.
Yes.
And those people didn't have any money coming in.
Right.
And so now we're seeing like very well qualified buyers.
People are very, very, very well qualified.
And verifiably.
Yes. Yes. They've all been, verified. You don't see the stated is what we used to call it.
Gosh.
Stated income, assets, and debt. But you don't see that anymore. People are very qualified. In 2008, they were selling loans on the bond market as if they were all A paper.
Mm-hmm.
They were bundling all loans together. And I don't know if you know this or not, but nothing is the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're talking about a gallon of milk. Not all brands are the same. Or,
right.
It's like the difference between Tide and H-E-B brand. They're not all the same. They were all being sold as if they were A paper, A plus loans.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't. And so that's what happened then. Today we're dealing with housing prices are increasing.
Mm-hmm.
Demand is increasing. There's not houses for people to buy. And because they have one house that's in multiple offer situations, it's rising, making the prices go up. You have people that are willing to pay the cash difference in appraised value. And, it's different today. And so I don't think it's going to crash.
Right.
I don't also see that rates are coming down tomorrow.
No.
I don't even know that they will next month. I listened to quite a few different people, and some people will have completely different opinions and they're very educated, smart people. So I don't know. Maybe we'll just get a crystal ball. Remember those 8 balls?
I wish. I have one in my office. Yes.
Shake it and whatever it says. We'll go with that.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. So I can tell you that this has been the fastest, highest rate increase in history.
That's crazy.
So I don't know. I don't know that anybody really, really, really knows.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like they are probably going to flatten out before the end of the year.
House prices?
Yes.
Yeah.
But people need houses. People
Right.
need to live. People want to live in Texas.
They do.
They do. Whether, it is what it is. Let me just tell you this. I've lived in Texas my whole life, and you couldn't shove me to any other state. I am Texas through and through. Mm-hmm. So I'm not mad at anybody that wants to move here, okay? I'm not mad at anybody.
Okay, thanks.
So the truth of it is people like Texas, people for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the demand for housing is going to go away.
I don't think so. I mean, and a lot of businesses are coming in from out of state because it is so much more cost effective to run a business in Texas.
Yes.
The way Abbott has things set up, well, the whole admin, the way they have it set up is it's so business owner friendly. Small business, large business, there are tax breaks, which I know some people are like, oh my gosh, don't give corporations tax breaks. But they're bringing in job opportunities. They're building up economies.
Right.
I mean, Waco is flourishing right now.
Yes.
There's so much fun stuff going on in Waco.
Yeah.
And, without these people coming in, without these businesses coming in, it might not have been that much.
Exactly.
I mean, 10 years ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't here 10 years ago, but from what I've had people tell me, like, you didn't go downtown.
Heck no.
First of all, you didn't go downtown.
Right.
And second of all, there was nothing to do anyway.
Exactly.
But now you've got escape rooms, axe throwing, boutiques, antique stores.
Yes.
I mean, there's lots to do now.
Yes. And I love that it's not these big corporations.
Yes.
They're
Right.
humans that maybe they lived in Florida and California or wherever the heck they came from. Who cares? But they are down here and they have taken these buildings that used to be boarded up
Mm-hmm.
and they're putting a little shine on them.
Yep.
And it's so cute down here.
It is so cute.
It is. There's these amazing things. There's amazing people.
Oh, and good food is coming in.
Yes, I know. And, you know, the older I've gotten, I know. I feel so old sometimes. But,
Oh, stop it.
you know, when I say things like this, it's like I realize more and more how important it is for us to invest in these small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth of it is just because they don't have some flashy sign that somebody 10 states away would recognize, they're probably better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and so I think it's a great thing. Whatever you know, everybody has their own opinion and it is what it is. Whatever. I'm not
Right.
going to, that's fine.
We're not changing anybody's mind today. Just kind
No.
of pointing out, hey,
Yes.
it's kind of cool. And back to your point, the demand
Mm-hmm.
for houses in Texas generally and in Waco specifically, it's not going anywhere.
Right. Right. And if I'm being honest, even when 2008 happened,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't happen to Texas like it did to others.
Really?
It
That's
didn't.
interesting.
Yeah. You know, I remember that, you know, the foreclosure rate was just ginormous in some other states and stuff. And like it'd be a whole subdivision that was gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it was scary.
You know, we didn't have a lot of that around here.
Right.
So, you know, yay, Texas.
Yeah.
But so I do think, you know, I don't think people are going to stop wanting to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if you are buying, renting, you're buying an investment property, whatever you're doing. People need homes.
Yes. And that doesn't change.
It doesn't. And the truth of it is if you look at history, people always make money on real estate,
Always.
whether that's next year or in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, you're going to walk away with money.
Well, and I think a good thing to keep in mind also is that land and real estate
Mm-hmm.
never get to net zero,
No, yeah,
but a stock can
Yep.
go belly up in a heartbeat
sure can.
and you lose every single penny.
Yep,
But you always have something you can pull out of your property, maybe at a loss,
right,
but maybe not.
right.
It's safer either way,
Either.
which is why investors pulled out of the stock market over the
Exactly.
past few months and reinvested in real estate, which is another issue with demand, but we're not going to get into that. Anyway, so demand is staying pretty high. House prices are going to stay
Yeah. I
pretty
don't-
high.
Yeah, it seems that way across the board. It just does.
Well, and I think speaking about like from a national perspective, Waco was well below, I would think,
Yes.
national home prices. So it almost had, it feels to me, and I'm not, a financial analyst, but
Right.
just looking at it from my vantage point as a real estate agent, Waco kind of had to do two market corrections. It had to
Yes.
correct to come up to what national levels were.
Right.
And then the nation went crazy.
Right.
So it was like double.
Agreed.
And so it feels very harsh. And I know we were just in a meeting yesterday, 1,000 Friends. And so City of Waco is looking at, hey, what can we do
Right.
as a city to help our citizens who, a $300,000 house is not in everybody's budget,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
$1,500 rent monthly is kind of ridiculous.
yeah.
And so the city is trying to mitigate some of that, and I'm really excited to see what their
Where that goes.
answers are and where
Right.
it goes, and kind of how it changes the landscape down here. But it's also really awesome to know that the city of Waco is looking
They see it.
at that. They see
Right.
it, and they're seeing it, I think, way earlier than other administrations caught it. And in those cities, in the Sand States, New
Mhm.
York, and that's where you see the homelessness
Yeah.
getting crazy. So I love that Waco is like, wait, pump the brakes.
Yeah. Let's
How
figure
can we
this
help
out.
our people?
What can we do?
Yeah, because again, Waco loves Waco.
Yes.
And I love that about this place. This
Yes.
is a true community. And people, even though people are a little upset with each other right now
Mm-hmm.
because prices are crazy and people feel maybe like they're not being seen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're seen. Like we're all being seen.
Yes.
And I think people are working toward that.
I agree. I completely agree. And, I have always been in this area. I grew up here, and I remember when I was in high school, we went to Six Flags, I think it was Six Flags.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, where are you from? Waco? And they were like, oh, do you know? And it's like, so the fact that, people think it's cool.
Yes.
I was talking to a guy that owns a restaurant over here yesterday, and he was telling me of all the different countries that he's seen come through his restaurant. I'm like,
yes,
so stinking cool.
Okay, so little known fact, when I first moved here, I was on the management team that opened Magnolia Table, and we had people coming from all over. And I'll tell you what, Waco wasn't like a stop on their way to LA. It wasn't a stop on their way to New York. It was the destination for their whole trip.
Yes.
This is where they wanted to be.
Yes.
And they were so excited to check it all out.
Right. Yeah.
And it's really neat. And what did they say yesterday? That Waco is like the number 2 growing tourist attraction in the nation? Or tourist destination?
I was floored.
Attraction. Sounds like an amusement park.
Whatever.
We don't have rides.
No.
Well, we have the scooters downtown.
Yeah. I don't do well on scooters.
Me either.
I tried to kill myself one time.
I don't do well walking, Christina.
Yeah, well.
Okay, but we're way off topic. So forecast wise, demand is staying high.
Yeah, I do think it will.
Rates are going to do what they're going to do. Nobody can control that.
Yeah, I don't see them falling.
Mm-mm.
I do hope that they even out at least. Because the truth of it is, when I bought my first house, at 5.75, that was that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as far as rates are concerned, people got used to the lower rates. And so now we got to get used to this.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. Like it or not, the good news about all of that is you can always refinance.
Right.
It's a great thing to be able to come back and say, okay, so my rate was here. Let's move it back down to here. And so, I remember doing refinances where they were dropping it to 5.5, and those people were just ecstatic. So, we have to reset our minds of what it is. It is what it is. I can complain and moan and whatever. It is what it is. Let's do what we can do to mitigate it now.
Yep. So buyers, definitely get all your stuff into your lender and get a strong pre-approval. Get beyond the pre-qual.
Yeah.
Sellers, take a look at the individual loan itself. Don't focus on the type of loan. Look at your offer and every facet, every term in there.
Right.
Don't just focus on, ooh, it's this or ooh, it's that. There are some really smart reasons that a buyer could choose the program they're choosing. So,
and don't think that your house is invisible and that just because they're conventional that it doesn't matter that you fall down when you walk in the door. Things matter. They're still going to matter no matter what type of loan you do. And I also say is that, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. The truth of it is, I had a couple that moved here from Florida, and because of all of this, they ended up having to sign into a lease where their rent is much higher than their house payment would have been because nobody wanted to accept an FHA offer.
Yeah.
And that it's frustrating, and I get it. It's frustrating for all types. Be educated.
Ask questions.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm a local lender. If you see my name come across on a pre-approval, pre-qualification letter, pick up the phone and ask me, hey, is Mrs. Smith really good? Yeah. Yeah. I did this. On my letters, it'll say, did I review assets, income, debts? So I try to tell it all in the picture. But the truth of it is sometimes you just want to hear it.
Yeah.
A human
person saying, yes, that person has sent me everything I need.
Right. Now that doesn't mean that something else isn't going to come out. I get all. There's always what ifs.
But I think the point is a conventional loan doesn't get rid of those what ifs. There are still if you want no what ifs,
take cash.
Take cash.
Yep.
And I hate to say that because there are so many awesome buyers out there, but it's not like cash buyers, they need houses too, and they're able to get them.
Yeah.
So, but as far as loan programs go, one is not necessarily better than the other.
Right. It doesn't mean one's more qualified than the other. I showed you a thing earlier where they compare the difference and all the loan types on which one is more denied and whatever. And conventional was actually higher.
As far as
denial rates and stuff. And so if you really look at the facts, not what Susie Q tells you, it's kind of interesting. It's not what you'd think.
No, I know. Good information. I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Everybody, again, thank you to Christina Dominguez with Thrive Mortgage for coming out and talking about all this stuff today. If you have real estate questions, please 254-447-0180. Give me a call, shoot me a text. If you could leave me your name, that'd be awesome too. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Christina, where can you be reached?
You can do me the same way. You can call or text anytime, 254-723-1186. Just a simple anything. I would be happy to help you, and a name would be great too.
Can we find you on social media anywhere?
You can. Don't make fun of my TikToks. I'm not that great at it.
Yes, you are. You do such a good job.
But yes, I am Mortgage Mama.
Yeah.
MAMMA. But look me up, Christina Dominguez at Thrive Mortgage. Feel free to look at me and laugh at me because I do.
I mean, it's fun.
It is.
Thanks, lady.
Thank you.
Do you have a topic you want to talk about? Do you have questions about Waco, the real estate market, how to sell your house, what to look for when you're buying a home? Send me an email, ericasellstexas@gmail.com. Shoot me a text, 254-447-0180. Happy to chat about it. Find me anywhere you listen to your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
Hey there, golf lovers. Looking to step up your game? Let me tell you about Mollybox, the ultimate golf subscription box. Every month, Mollybox sends you a box packed with premium golf gear, accessories, and stylish apparel, all delivered right to your door. Imagine getting top-tier apparel and more, all handpicked just for you. With Mollybox, you'll stay ahead of the game and boost your performance. It's like having a personal caddy in a box. So why wait? Join the Mollybox family today. Head over to mollybox.com and use your limited time promo code ROGUE25, ROGUE, ROGUE 25 for 25% off your first box. That's mollybox.com.